Have you ever wondered what goes into making award-winning TVs? I'm here at Sony offices in Tokyo to see just how the magic happens. Let's go take a closer look. Now, what we weren't expecting to get access to was an exclusive look at some TV tech that totally blew us away and gave us an insight into what the future of TVs might be. More about that coming up in the video. For now, let's talk about why Sony really stood out among this year's TV manufacturers. Every year, Value Electronics holds a TV shootout event, for which a panel of professionals, think video colorists, film editors, TV reviewers, and video scientists, evaluate a handful of top-rated 4K TVs to pick a winner based on some key parameters. This distinction is considered by many to be the ultimate badge of approval for a TV, calling it the best TV of the year definitively. This year, the winner was the Sony Bravia XR A95L QD OLED TV. Now, we at Tom's Guide use our own set of guidelines for reviewing a TV and take into account use cases and budgets when making our recommendations. Part of our testing process includes in-house benchmarking that you've seen me refer to many times in my TV reviews. When we conducted our tests on a 65-inch review unit of the Sony A95L, it scored some of the highest marks we've benchmarked across the board. With HDR material, the A95L's brightness reached about 1,215 nits on 10% of the screen, which is what we typically measure. Even if it's a lower score than we got for the LG G3 OLED TV and the Samsung S95C QD OLED TV, it's still exceptional for a non-LED TV. But it's the color gamut coverage that really impressed us. The Sony A95L had more than complete coverage of not just the Rec. 709 color gamut, and it also thoroughly nailed the UHDA P3 color gamut. It also has the highest sub 100% value we've seen. Then, the A95L's coverage of the wider Rec. 2020 color gamut gave us a result that's its own kind of spectacular, 89.41%, which is over 15% more than the coverage from both the LG G3 OLED and the Samsung S95C OLED. But why do Sony TVs have a big advantage specifically in these scores? Like most manufacturers, Sony won't disclose all of its secrets. But when we were in Tokyo, we got up close with the Sony BVM-HX3110, the company's newest professional reference monitor that maxes out at 4,000 nits and costs well over $30,000. This reference monitor will roll out to film studios in the next few years, acting as the authority for producers, editors, and colorists as they work on motion pictures. I could go into detail about the monitor's specs and technology that power some of the most precise 4K HDR imagery I've ever seen with my own two eyes on a screen. But more important than that is, you have to imagine that Sony takes what it learns from developing a professional-grade master monitor and finds ways for it to trickle down to the picture performance of its consumer TVs. Of course, picture isn't the only thing that matters about a TV. Sound, though sometimes an afterthought, is a critical element of TV watching that Sony treats with as much consideration based on what we see at their offices. Their engineers developed a sound mapping machine that visualizes sound in 3D to analyze the virtual listening volume of a given set. It takes the form of a 3-arm robot that moves on XYZ axes to measure frequency across 16,500 points in front of a TV, and the process takes between 30 to 40 minutes. Sony knows that the sound experience doesn't stop at the TV though. The company's 360 spatial sound mapping feature makes achieving surround sound in your home rather approachable. Essentially, 360 SSM offers flexibility in speaker installation, since it's not always possible to have an ideal layout, by introducing virtual speaker positions that can correct and expand the soundstage surrounding your ears. This means that wherever you're able to place your actual speakers, the sound will adjust to be excellent for your space. We've been talking about what makes an existing TV like the Sony A95L special, but while at the company's headquarters, we got an exclusive look at some prototype technology that Sony may use to raise the bar of their future TVs. Something I've truly never seen before, Sony peeled back TV screens to show us the Mini-LED drivers the company is working on. Mini-LEDs work like gradients to offer precise output of light, and the accuracy of those gradations is super important. If you look at the backlight of most TVs, you might see gradients that look somewhat pixelated, making these blobs of light output that don't totally ruin a TV, but with smaller LEDs with precise control from an advanced TV processor, that basically means more definition from the backlight. This lets a TV portray better levels of black and dark shades, which in turn makes for a better image contrast. Contrast helps an image look more nuanced and realistic, offering a larger range from the brightest part of the screen to the darkest. From what we saw, Mini-LED will be the type of TV technology to watch for the next year. Of course, we're still expecting Sony to come out with OLED TVs, and there are other exciting technologies to keep an eye on. But as we learned at the company's headquarters, a lot more than you think goes into making the best TVs as great as they are. It's not every day we get to see how the TVs that end up in our living room get tested and made. I know I thought it was super cool, but I want to know what you think. Be sure to let me know in the comments. You can catch more of our TV content on social, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Tom's Guide. And as always, I'm at Kate Kozich. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.